Hello, everybody. I'm Jalen, and we're back here in my jungle base, which I am just having so much fun with this base, if I'm being honest with you. Definitely been bitten by the Minecraft bug again. And we got our mob farm in here, as you can hear, in this awesome abandoned building, which I'm just real excited about the theme, and I'm excited to extend to the other side of the street here, and we're going to do a free roaming copper golem area over here, and I'm real excited to get going on that. You might notice things looking a little different. I'm in Vibrant Visuals. I tested them out the other day and felt like they were running pretty good, and I was liking how it looked, so I thought I'd give them a try for a little bit, see how I feel. But before I get going on the storage area over there, I just wanted to put a little work into all these buildings like I have been every now and then, going through assembly line style and just chipping away, mainly just getting floors and finish getting the walls up in the majority of these over here. I do plan on doing a free roaming villagers as well. We're going to have lots of life in this area eventually. And I'm real excited about my copper golem area over here, but these buildings needed a good amount of work to be ready for that. And I do plan on each building having its own theme, so this is going to be my wood building, so I end up swapping the materials out there a little bit. This is going to be my dirt variant building, so we're building it out of dirt. Obviously, everything's kind of ugly right now. We'll come back and finish things up. This is going to be my leaf and flower building, so we're going green with this one. We'll bring some texture in, and I didn't realize how dark it was as I'm looking this over, but yeah, got that all set up. And then, again, just chipping away around the area, put a little more work into the road, going with the oak kind of on the outside of the road, and then have the middle act like it's worn, more of a path with the dirt and the path blocks. And I think it's looking really good. And I also want to just give a shout to Vibrant Visuals. I think they've got them running a lot better. Definitely better than last time I looked in there, but I think that was a particularly bad time. But yeah, it's running really good over here and just looks really cool, and I'm happy getting these buildings just organized, floors in. Before we know it, we're going to be ready to build. And yeah, I'm just really excited about the concept over here. Have just golems through each building, but I didn't want to start with a resource gathering session, but I don't want to leave you out either, so we're going to go back in time a little bit and show you what I did between episodes. First off, slowly enchanting. I was at level 30, so I got some feather falling boots, which wasn't too bad, and I spent a good amount of time gathering some resources, making a trip out to the mesa and getting some cactus so I can have some green dye. Then I kept going all the way out to our mangrove area, which you'll be familiar with if you've been following my series. If you want to see me originally finding this, I think it'll probably be the 4th or 5th video I ever made. And yeah, I will say the Vibrant Visuals didn't like this area quite as much, but we got through it. Nice to have some mud and just the mangrove trees. And I also got some of the dripstone so I can make a lava generator at some point. And I want to use these blocks for building a little more. I think they're underused. But yeah, now we're back in real time. And I was ready to get a free roaming copper golem system going on. Like I said, each building's going to have its own theme, so this is going to be my building for just my blocks and slabs and stairs and just random materials. So I thought I had a pretty good plan, and I just got going here, knowing that the golems search chests in order from closest to furthest. So in theory, if I make this chest here, whenever they open it up, they'll go through the chest in order from closest to furthest. So for testing, I'm going to put a block in every chest, and the object is to have the last chest they visit be a chest going into a hopper, so it'll stay empty, so they'll always have a place to get rid of a block that they're holding if they didn't find a place to put it on the way. Now here's a small example of a whole bunch of the tinkering I had to do, that they were able to walk on that chest and it was throwing off the first chest they visit. But yeah, you can see they're going from closest to furthest, and so far so good. You can imagine when I have these organized, it'll make more sense. We'll go through things at the end. But yeah, if you have this last chest going into a hopper, they'll drop things off rather than get stuck with an item in their hand. So I moved over to this building, which is going to be my stone variant. And this is where a problem started to arise. Is once I was testing this guy out, I realized that he was attracted to chests on the other side of the wall, and these guys were brought from over there, so this is when things really started to turn. And I had to do just a whole bunch of tinkering, figuring the chests out so that they wouldn't be attracted to ones on the other side, and this is when I decided I just wasn't even going to try to record that and make any sense of it, and I'm just going to show you everything at the end here. And we definitely got it looking cool. You can see the life of these guys just walking around here, and we did a lot of organizing. You can see we went 6 Minecraft days since you last saw me. But yeah, we'll just put a piece of bread in here since there isn't a chest for bread. This is our block room. So we got this raw wood and blocks and slabs and stairs, doors and fences, random blocks in there, glass in here. So you can see, as long as if I put something in this chest, he's going to go through and in order, and the last chest he'll visit will go into a hopper, so he'll get rid of the piece of bread since he didn't find a spot for it, and then I just have to come and clean out those boxes every now and then. But for the most part, since I know where everything is, it's not going to happen very often. So this is my stone block room, and I did have to knock out some of the doors and widen some of the doors because they were getting stuck, but that's all right, and we'll figure that out when we build things. But yeah, you can see I got this one organized. Got it kind of organized backwards here, but just all the different stone types, stone and cobblestone and deep slate over here. So it'll be easy to just come and drop that off there. And again, you can see last one he'll visit, he'll drop off the bread. And I'm actually going to come back and switch the order of these chests because I do want the cobblestone and deep slate to be first since they're the most common. That'll speed things up a bit. Yeah, then we got our dirt variants in this room. 2 chests for dirt because I always end up with so much of that. And then I got sand and gravel, moss, mud, clay, and then just randoms. We'll fill this up over time. Obviously, I don't have a bunch of materials at this point, but yeah. Main thing is I got all the chests organized in a way where they're not pulling the golems off in the wrong direction, because they can be easily confused, and it might happen, but I've let them run around a little bit here and run a few runs, and they seem to be doing pretty good, and man, I'm just really liking the life. This is my greenery room, so you got leaves, and saplings, flowers, and just random decorative blocks. Now this room back here, I kind of overestimated how much I was going to need for leaves and stuff, so I'm just putting these as holding blocks for now. I don't know exactly what I'm going to use that room for yet, but yeah, this was a hard one, just the way the room was shaped, figuring out how to get this golem organized, but last chest he visits. And then, yeah, just a reminder, I still have this room over here, which was my original golem sorting area, and this one I can just dump everything in that box, and it'll have a spot in all these chests, so this is where I'll really be coming and dumping off my stuff, and then when these chests fill up, that's when I'll bring them over to those other rooms. But it is going to be nice, and just the life of the golems is just so much fun. I really like the copper golems. One of my favorite additions to the game in a very long time, if I'm being real with you. And yeah, I was ready to get building at this point, and I thought I would just get out of the way and show the process and a nice little montage of me starting to bring these buildings to life a little bit. And I really have fun with this. Going through assembly line style as usual. And I know I've been saying it, but man, I'm just really having fun with this base. It's definitely just different than anything I've done. And we're just getting this vibe going, like I kind of established last episode with this jungle punk vibe, I'm trying to call it. And obviously, when we get more neon capabilities, we'll make it cooler. But I think the glazed terracotta just gives this nice little colorful vibe. And man, we just got this looking so cool down here. I didn't mean for this to come out looking so much like a barn. I might need to change things up a little bit, but I don't hate it. And we just got some interiors going. Everything's simple, just getting some basic structure in and some paintings for a little color and a little carpet. But so much better than the blank buildings, and man, I just think this came out really cool. And even got these buildings a little detailed over here. And this building, eventually, I think I'm going to turn into being where I store like nether items and end items and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just having so much fun with this base, and that was a really good little building session, and I'm ready for another one, get working on some things up here. But before I do that, I was at level 31, so I did a enchantment, and we got Fortune 3. And a perfect pickaxe. Can't beat that. Now I wanted to jump right back into building, and I wanted to put a little work on top of the hill here. We got this magenta building, and I'm actually going to add another building. We're going to hide some sheep farms in there. I want to get the path network figured out a bit. Just start chipping away at the area up here. Well, I've let it get kind of overgrown, so I had to do a little bit of clearing things out before I got to work up here, laying out the path network. Going with a 3 wide. Actually, I turned it to a 2 wide eventually. Just up in this area. As I'm going up the mountain, have things be a little smaller, just kind of work with perspective, and we're going to be doing more of that. It does feel good to get this path put in, have a way to get up here and have it be an area. As well as getting this path put in that I've been wanting to do since I started building in the area up here. But like I said, we wanted to add another building here, and I started with this blue terracotta, but when I got down there and looked at it, it blended with the sky too much for it being kind of my tallest building at the top of the hill. I want it to be something contrasting with the sky a little more, so I went with the yellow, which I did not regret. It ends up looking really good. And you can see I got a little bit of wool here. We'll be coming back with a lot more wool, brighten up the top, and have it be a nice bright building. And yeah, speaking of wool, we're going to turn these into wool farms, which you've seen me build these a few times at this point. Hopper into the back of the chest, hopper mine carts on the hoppers, sheep on top of the mine carts, observers looking at the dirt that I will turn into grass, which is a problem here since I don't have silk touch, so we're going to have it spread the old-fashioned way. So while I was waiting for it to do that, I started going around the edges and using stone just because it was getting a little too green. I want it to be nice and green, but I'm really glad I ended up doing this. Changing the edges with stone, it just cleaned things up, makes it a little less messy looking, and using the stairs and slabs to get a little interesting shape, and we'll come back and put some texture in with some cobble and andesite and all that. But yeah, just with all the green around here, I needed to find, I was going a little crazy with the moss, even though I'm still really liking the concept, but I gotta break it up a little bit, and I'm really glad I did. I think this just looks so much better, and I got it cleaned up the leaves a little bit, just made it a little cleaner looking. But yeah, I didn't want to break up the building process with this incident that happened a couple nights earlier when I started getting attacked by this zombie, and it just felt different. He has a spear. That's going to be dangerous with that far reach. It's definitely a different thing, and I'll be honest, I've been waiting for the update, but I didn't realize it was today, so it's update day. And I got my first spear ever. And yeah, that's cool. I get surprised with update day. I'm not super excited about this update. It doesn't seem like there's that much going on, but I am looking forward to a Nautilus at some point. But I put the spear in my valuables chest of firsts. But I was ready to get back building, mainly just working on this area up here, bringing these buildings up to par. You can see we got the grass all grown in the old-fashioned way. I don't have silk touch yet. I'm going on day 200 and I'm still not using any of my leveled up gear. I wait until I have it all at once before I start using it. But that might come back to bite me. We'll see. But for now, I was just placing some blocks, and I'm really happy with how these buildings came out. As well as Getting a little path network set up here. Just getting the basics in for now. We can come back later. I also got the sheep brought over. I'll kind of skip through this, but I will say these guys were pretty finicky trying to get their way up here. But I popped them in, and I'm making these ones the yellow and orange building and the purple and magenta building. I might just do random colors for a little bit until I have all my buildings put in, but in the long run, that's what the plan is for here. And I think the little pops of wool in the building end up just looking really good. But this night I got caught off guard. I had been staying up through the nights just chipping away at my levels, and I got ambushed here. Sometimes I play without my headphones on, it's bad, but worst part is I knew that edge was there. I was planning on using the tree, and I just ran off the edge and did it to myself. Super frustrating. I was at level 31. Horrible death there. But I'll save you from me dwelling on it. We did get a little tower put on top of the building here, which I'm really liking this being a theme to the area, getting these towers on. They just look so cool, and they're just easy and just a different detail that does make this area a lot more modern than I usually build. Obviously, with the theme I'm going for, but I just think these little pops of color and light, and like I said earlier, we'll get some frog lights and some end rods and all that, and really kind of cyberpunk / jungle punk the area out a bit. But for now, I'm really liking what we got going, and spent a whole bunch of time spreading some moss around, and I wanted to transform this mountain a little bit. So I did a level of dirt, and then I figured I'm gonna, over time, put snow peaks on all these mountains. So this is my first little test with it. And working with perspective, I put these little mini trees on just to try to make the mountain look bigger from not that far away. You'll see in a second, but I also chopped this really tall jungle tree down that had been bugging me, speaking of messing with perspective, as well as getting a few of the azalea trees and replacing them with jungle trees just to get a variation. And then I spent the last night finishing my path, making it easy to traverse. What better way to end things off than another death? I'm just not very good sometimes. You all know that by now, though, if you've been watching. But no, the real problem is that I keep taking my torches out that I had put in originally. I end up building on them and then not replacing them. But yeah, finished off just adding a few more rocks and adding a bunch of purple flowers to my little path up here. And I think this area looks so cool. I know I've said it a few times already, but something about this base just really has me inspired. And it goes to show you why this area caught my attention in the first place as to why I chose this seed. But I think these new buildings are just really cool. I really like the wool, like I said, given that pop of brightness. I just think it looks really good. And we got nice functioning wool farms here and cool little path up here. We'll decorate up here a little more, but at least we got the path put in, wrap around behind here, get me down to my storage area. But yeah, just the vibe around here is just so cool. I just want to take another slow little stroll just around this little corner and through this little street right here. I just think it's so special. Now, there's lots of blocks. It's kind of block messy in some ways, and I realize that's going to bug some people, but I'm well aware of it, and this is kind of what I'm going for here. Almost kind of block vomity, some would say, but I think it just looks really cool, and it actually looks pretty good from up close. A little further away, sometimes it can get a little messy, but I think getting the stone put in here on top instead of all the green, it just breaks up all the green. And I want to show you, my mob farm's been working away like crazy. I've used a couple stacks of bones out of it. I've never had a mob farm right where I live, and I've spent a bunch of time, and it does more than enough, just this little mob farm, for what I'm going to need. Over time, that's really going to fill up. I'm looking forward to upgrading these. I might do them in a slight different style. I don't know for sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'm really liking the concept we got going on over here. These buildings can still use a little love, and we're going to turn this one into another copper golem sorter of crops and all that, but yeah, I figured we better take a view from our tree over here so you can mainly see the mountain in the background. I think it just looks so cool, getting the snow on top and the dirt layer and green going up rather than it just being a big stone. I think it just looks really good, and the miniature trees do a lot for the perspective. I don't know how well that's going to show up on YouTube for you, but it definitely does it. And I do plan on snow capping all these peaks over time. I think that's going to be a really cool project and really transform the area. But all those deaths made me not able to get Silk Touch and go get snow, so that's the problem with that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode today. I think we got some really cool stuff built, and I'm just really liking this area. And if you're liking what you're seeing and made it this far, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. I hope to see you again. As always, thank you all for coming, and have a good day.